The wonders of technology also allow us to know who watched online last year, and this included the US, Thailand, Australia, to name but 3. We were particularly interested to note that there was one online viewer, and this is without a lie, in Outer Mongolia. We actually knew his address as well, but we didn't go and knock him up. Last year, immediate past President Ian Carroll invited you to look at the cameras and give a big wave to all the folk who are online. However, this year, our international convener, Andrew Murray's Aunt Jenny Lawner from Oregon, US of A, will be watching. And so I would invite you all to wave and shout, "Hello, Auntie Jenny." So after 3, 1, 2, 3, "Hello, Auntie Jenny." I'm sure she'll be touched. Our guest of honour tonight is Deputy Lord Lieutenant of the County, Andrew Stevens, so welcome, Andrew. A warm welcome is also extended to the members of the North Lanarkshire Schools Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Dominic Farr. The orchestra will be performing at the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall on Wednesday, the 26th of March, as part of North Lanarkshire Schools Music Group's Showcase Concert. However, the main attraction for many tonight is the rightly famous Caledonian Fiddle Orchestra. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big welcome to the members of the Caledonian Fiddle Orchestra under the conductor, Kenneth McLean.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be back in this church once again. We were here a year ago and had an excellent concert. This year we're sharing the platform with another orchestra, the North Lanarkshire Youth Orchestra. So when we change over, there'll be a wee bit of toing and froing. We'll be moving that way and they'll be moving this way. And when they're finished, we'll go in reverse order then. So if you could just bear with us at the changeover period. But we'd like to introduce the concert as we normally do with a set of marches. It starts with a march called the 10th Brigade at Meggersfontein, which is in South Africa, as you can guess by the name. So who knows, maybe somebody in Meggersfontein is watching this programme. You'll never know. It's followed by a couple of 6/8 marches. The first one was composed for the British Legion, and it's called the British Legion March, and it finishes with MacNeil of Ugadale. we're going to follow that set of marches with a set of jigs. All the tunes in this selection were composed by the same person, an accordion and band leader player, Ian Holmes from down in the Borders. The name of the first, I'll not go through them all, the name of the first tune is Charlie Cowie. If you're a country dancer, this is a set of jigs that would be suitable for any dance with a 6/8 rhythm. This is normally the part of our programme where we have an audience participation dance. When we're in the big halls in Glasgow, half the audience are up dancing down the aisles. I wouldn't expect that of you tonight. But we're going to play a set of Scottish songs in a waltz tempo, and it's suitable for a St. Bernard's waltz. It starts with the well-known song, The Waters of Kyle's Quay. I'll let you guess the other ones. Thanks very much. We're going to finish this spot off with another country dance. This is a dance actually that was devised by prisoners of war during the Second World War. It's called the Reel of the 51st Highland Division. When they were incarcerated in the prison camp, they had lots of time on their hand, and they devised this dance, which has become very popular in old time. And even when we go to play at weddings, very often they ask for this particular dance, the Reel of the 51st Highland Division. Thanks very much. So we're going to have our first changeover. Our orchestra is moving that way, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to the North Lanarkshire Youth Orchestra with their conductor, Dominic Farr.
and gentlemen, one of the pieces that we're playing in this half is actually Mission Impossible, which seems to be the case just now. So if you could just bear with us for a few more seconds, please, we'll start. Considering he'd been writing music since he was 4 years of age, it just makes you wonder what he would have come up with if he'd lived longer than his 35 years of age. We're going to continue this section of our programme just now with a whole load of symphony themes. I think there's a dozen different melodies in here by different composers. We'll leave you to guess the composers and the melodies. Thank you.
Well, we're going to come back to Scotland and have another round the room dance, as we call it. This is the Canadian barn dance this time. There's a couple of tunes. The first one is called Millbank Cottage, and the second one is The Sprig of Ivy. We're going to slow the tempo right down now. We're going to play a slow air, a lament, in fact. This tune was written by the late Angus Fitchett, a fiddle player from Dundee. And when I tell you the name of the tune, you'll know why it was written. It's called Lament for Lockerbie. We're going to have a two-step now. The interesting tune in this set is the last one. You remember the old 78 gramophone records you used to have? I was told about them, with the wind-up gramophones. There was always a picture of a dog in the middle speaking into or barking into a microphone. And I always remember as a youngster, one of these records was called The Whistler and His Dog. It was a very famous record in its day. I'm going way back to the early 50s, late 40s, early 50s. Well, the last tune in this selection is The Whistler and His Dog, if you can remember that far back. See if you can remember it. There's a lot of tunes before that, of course. You remember the Whistler and his dog now? I'm sure you do. I have to let the ladies know that this is the second last selection before we have an interval. If I don't tell them that, there'll not be any tea, and there'll be eruptions then. We're going to take a wee trip across the sea to Ireland. It starts with the Irish Rover, which is a folk song, really. I'll not tell you the names of the other ones, I'm sure you'll recognise them. We're going to finish this half off with what we call a set of Berlin reels. The first one is called Bill Powrie, composed by Ian Powrie, who, as you all know, emigrated to Australia. He played a lot on television with the Jimmy Blue Band, etc. Then there's a tune called the Hesley Side Reel, and an Irish reel called The Maid Behind the Bar. That's a good tune to play at the end of for an interval, isn't it? You're going to see The Maid Behind the Bar. And it finishes with Howard's Reel.
Take a short interval or comfort break for about 20 minutes. Refreshments are available in the large hall for the audience. The orchestras will find refreshments in their own halls. To facilitate the ease of movement, the school's orchestra will leave first by the door on the right, followed by the Caledonian Orchestra. The quickest way for most of the audience to get to large hall is actually out of the front door and round to the side of the building, although the front rows can come through this way as well. In North Lanarkshire believe in giving value for money, and as an added bonus, providing background music during the interval will be at least a 7-piece quartet from the North Lanarkshire School's Symphony Orchestra. So if we could say we return at, say, 10:02, that would be great. Thank you. In 2013 alone, the Rotary Club of Motherwell and Wisher's Wishwell project has provided water to over 4,000 people at a cost of £250 per well. Work has already started on another 11 borehole wells, and it is hoped to complete a total of 20 boreholes in 2014, subject to funding. One of Rotary's most fitting slogans is, "We're for communities," so please help to improve life for the people of Malawi. Together we can make a difference, and there will be an opportunity for you to support a project further by making a donation as you leave. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's my pleasure to welcome the Caledonian Fiddle Orchestra.
Well, we're going to start this part of the programme off with the most popular dance of all in old time, that's the Gay Gordons. It happens to start with the march. You've heard me talk about the 51st Highland Division already, about a dance that they devised, but this is a march called the 51st Highland Division. The second one is the back-pedalling Mudguard, rather a strange name for a tune, and finishing with Drumoist. This is the Gay Gordons. Well, we're going to go back across to Ireland again. This time there's a number of Irish songs in a waltzing tempo, and the dance this time is the Pride of Erin Waltz. It starts with all those endearing young charms. will just stay over in Ireland and have a Scottish country dance. The reason I say that is the dance I'm talking about is Strip the Willow. Believe it or not, it's a Scottish country dance, although when you see it done in some of the... they're throwing people all over the place. It's best played to a set of Irish reels rather than Scottish reels, because Irish reels are just that bit more up-tempo than Scottish reels. So, here's a Strip the Willow. It's always difficult for Scottish fiddle players to play Irish music because there's never any chords at the beginning and there's never any chords at the end. It's the end chord that's the difficult one because just by habit you want to play it. It's always done in Scottish country dancing. You always play a chord at the end so that the partners can bow to each other. It doesn't happen in Irish music. They just walk away from each other. They don't bow again. Anyway, it's my pleasure to invite our North Lanarkshire Youth Orchestra to come back and play for us once again. Would you please give them a big welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the North Lanarkshire Youth Orchestra.
Ladies and gentlemen, just while we're getting set up, I'll quickly say a few words about the three pieces that we're going to play in the second slot here. We're absolutely delighted to be sharing the stage tonight with the Caledonian Fiddle Orchestra, and indeed we've prepared a bit of a tribute tonight with our first piece, which is Sound of Scotland. I suddenly thought, though, during the intro, after hearing them in action, it's a bit like teaching a granny to suck eggs. So I really hope we do this piece justice, and indeed they enjoy the three different tunes in Sounds of Scotland. After that, we're going to play the famous march from the Dam Busters, staple New Year's Day television, but definitely one of the most famous march melodies of all time. And to finish off, we'll jump further to the 1990s with an orchestral version of Santana. Thank you. that goes to prove they don't need me anyway. I may as well go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, isn't it fantastic to see our youth playing musical instruments like that and producing the sound of North Lanarkshire Youth Orchestra? Someone at my back saying, "Is that us you mean?" I said, "No." I said, "Youth." We're going to be playing you a selection of music now by one of the most famous composers of Scottish fiddle music that there has been, and I'm sure everybody has heard the name before, James Scott Skinner, who came from Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire. He was the most prolific writer of all music, all traditional music, or most of which is played on the fiddle and still played to this day. This is a sample of some of his music. It starts with a tune. When I was a youngster, about 6 years old, learning fiddle, or the violin as it was known in those days, my father also played violin, and I always remember him saying to me, he played this tune. It's called The Bonnie Lass Upon a Cord. Perhaps one of James Scott Skinner's most well-known and famous tunes. He said, when you can play that tune without looking at the music, he said, you've mastered the fiddle. And I always remember that. It's followed by a march that he wrote when he was standing in Union Street in Aberdeen, watching the Gordon Highlanders going off to the First World War. Many, or most of them, of course, never returned. And this is the original march that he wrote, called The Gay Gordons. It's followed by a strathspey, which is that unique rhythm that is peculiar to Scottish traditional music. This particular strathspey is called Mackenzie Hay, and it finishes with a concert reel he called Angus Campbell. The music of Scott Skinner, you can't better it. I'm going to ask you to use your imagination now, and you need a big imagination for this. Have you ever been to the area around about Loch Tay? It's a beautiful part, one of the finest parts of Scotland for scenery that you'll come across. Just imagine you're on the banks of Loch Tay, and it's a dead, calm water. The sun is beating out the sky. I told you needed a good imagination for this. The sun is beating out the sky. And all of a sudden, round this headland comes a rowing boat with 2 people in it, rowing across the water. And the only ripples on the water are from the front of the boat and the oars dipping in the water. Lovely, calm summer's day. That's the picture you've got to get when we play this next tune. It's actually based on a song, the Loch Tay boat song. It's our arrangement of the Loch Tay boat song. And we finish it off, because the River Tay runs to Dundee. We went to Dundee and tagged on a wee hornpipe at the end. It's called the Dundee Hornpipe. can come back to winter now. Summer's over. We're going to go away beyond the north of Scotland to the Orkney and Shetland Islands now. This is a tune that was composed in, recently, when I say recently, in the last 5 years. It's a tune called The Northlands, meaning the lands beyond the north of Scotland. Well, that's got to be Orkney and Shetland, hasn't it? Here's the Northlands. So while we're up there, we're going to have the Orkney two-step. Here's a two-step from way up north. It's followed by a second tune called the Auchentoshan two-step. Now, gentlemen, you know what Auchentoshan is. It's one of the finest drams you can get out of a bottle. And if you go along the Great Western Road towards Dumbarton and look down on the left-hand side at Clydebank, you'll see the distillery. I don't know whether he composed this tune when he was in the distillery or not, but that's what it's named after, the Auchentoshan two-step. Didn't know we had these accordions sneaking in the back there, you know. We're going to finish tonight a set of reels with a difference. This is our American selection, as we call it. You could use it for all sorts of things, actually. But they're all based on tunes that you possibly knew back in your teenage years. Or a lot of them, that's when they first appeared. See how many of these you know.
It's now my great pleasure to give a vote of thanks for this evening. I'm sure you agree that the promise of a great evening's entertainment has clearly been fulfilled this evening. This is due to the two groups of players who have performed this evening. It's great to hear the Caledonian Fiddle Orchestra giving it loudly, and reassuring to hear the odd "phew" amongst you, and even some of you singing. The orchestra never fails to entertain and bring a smile to the face, especially after a hard week. Our Rotary Club is regularly bowled over by the enthusiasm and talent of our schools, be it on speakers' evenings, school spotlights and musical evenings. Tonight's school's entertainment certainly needed a bigger setting than the function suite at the Bentley Hotel. And once again, the sheer talent of youth of today makes us hopeful for the future. A lot of work, planning and organisation are required for an evening like this. I would like to thank the Minister and office bearers of Dale St Andrew's Church for use of the premises and their assistance. Colin Weir and his team for the web streaming, sound and lighting, the St Andrew's First Aid team. I'd also like to thank the businesses and companies who have supported us by placing advertisements in the programme, and obviously the many Rotarians who have been here this evening assisting with the various aspects of this event, both before and during this evening. I'd also like to thank the ladies of the Motherwell and Wishaw Inner Wheel for their assistance with the teas and other activities this evening. A special shout goes out to Andrew Murray, however, for his organisation, badgering and bullying, without which tonight just wouldn't have been possible. Most of all, thanks to everyone here and on the internet for your support this evening. There will be an opportunity for you to support our project further by making a donation as you leave. All of this is very much appreciated, and without it, the Rotary Club couldn't achieve what it has to date and what it hopes to achieve in the future in supporting communities worldwide. I would ask you now all to please give a hearty vote of thanks to everybody involved this evening.
Thanks very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great pleasure to come back and play for you once again. We hope it won't be too long in the future before we may be back once more. No doubt many of you have seen the leaflets that are lying about. We have our big concert in City Halls coming up on the 26th of April. We look forward to seeing some of you there, possibly. You'll be most welcome, and you'll see them dancing up and down the aisles there. We're going to play and sing together Auld Lang Syne, but I would like to invite at least the fiddle players of the orchestra, or any of the other instruments as well. Would you like to come along the back of the orchestra there? You can play this as well. It's in the key of G. It's very simple. If you don't know the tune, just look on the music in front of you. You'll see music in front of you there. Just come along the back here. Don't be shy, right along the back. Let's go right along. If you can't get room at the back, come in the front here, or come into the body of the church. Don't be frightened. Come into a point where you can, if you don't know the music, come round here. You don't have it, so that's all right. There's room back here. Yeah, everybody okay? There's room round this other side if you want to come round this other side here. You'll get more room there. So it's Auld Lang Syne in the key of G. Just listen and follow the players in front of you. And you're going to sing it. You've got to work, you've got to know the words. We don't need to know the words, we only need to know the music. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.